Hello, hello, everyone. It's Jane Hamill, and I have such a great guest today. I know I always say that, but I am flipping excited today. Today, we are welcoming Tiffe from Baby Teeth. What's up? Hi. You guys, if you're listening on the podcast, you might want to see how adorable Tiffy's bangs are
Oh my
because
gosh.
she inspired my bangs. So just saying, we are also going to be on the YouTube and back in the blog. Okay. So today we're going to get a little bit of her startup story. And we're also really going to dive into what would you do if you were starting over again today? Because hearing someone's story and what they did when, Tiffy started and she was kind of on the cusp of, let's say, Instagram, that ain't happening anymore. So if you're starting over again, Tiffy, we're going to pick your brain about that in addition to your experience, what you've been through. So let's start with tell everybody who you are and what do you do?
Awesome. Thanks, Jane. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, my name is Tiffe, and I currently have a brand that is now, I don't know if you know this, Jane, this is the 10th year, 10th anniversary this year of Baby Teeth. Yes,
Yes, baby.
a community-driven brand. I launched it when my daughter was born, and the community around the brand is basically a space where mothers can, like, I have a private Facebook group where they can give each other support, basically a community I wish I had when I became a mom for the first time. Well, I only have one, but right then, like becoming a mother, like that whole process is very, can be very isolating and lonely. And
A
so
bit
yeah,
of a mind F. Yeah.
oh my gosh, yeah. So
Yeah.
this was 10 years ago. I started the Facebook group around the brand. I had already launched things. And it turned into really being community driven for mothers, but also the clothing is inspired by new wave post punk 80s music and spooky things because uh, it just kind of gravitated towards that and it works. And it's like another layer to the conversations. It doesn't have to just be about our kids and, the ups and downs of motherhood, but also having that kind of like fan base around the music and pop, like 80s pop culture and stuff like that has been really fun. So yeah, that's the brand that I have right now, but I don't know how far back you want me to go, Jane.
So okay, so we were trying not to prep. I try not to like prep people for podcasts because I just want to have a conversation. But you mentioned something about how you started in the whole realm of entrepreneurship, and you just hinted at it. I'm dying to know. So
Okay.
your company is called Baby Teeth. It's babyteith.com, Teith. Okay. Tiffy is unbelievably talented in many, many areas. I'd say like most of the clients I've ever worked with are talented and smart. You happen to have like 17 different things you could do and you're all good at. So that's one thing we're going to get into. But tell me this, when you were a kid, you started in entrepreneurship, literally, dude, I never heard this story. Tell me about it.
Okay. I think you're implying when I was a freshman in high school, but even before
Yeah.
that, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if I ever told you, when I was 9 years old is when I decided fashion design, that's it. I really haven't had any other desires to work in any other fields other than music. At one point, I was like, I was like watching a Michael Jackson video in like 80, 89 or something like that, or maybe 90. And I was like, I really want to work on music videos too, but like something to do with it, which I eventually got to do.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like from the get go, I was like, fashion, I want to make clothing. I made clothing for my Barbies, and I made my my best friend now, Brittany, her and I, we've been best friends since we were 8. Um, her and another like neighbor girl that we would hang out with, we would pretend that we were doing runway shows. I was the designer. I think Brittany was the photographer, and our other friend was the model. That kind of thing. That was like how how we played. And so then eventually, like it was just always an interest. When I in high school, my teacher, my art teacher, she was from Dublin, and she was a designer from Dublin. And when I told her, I was like, I'm really interested in fashion. Um, It's the only thing I really wanted. She really took me under her wing. She brought in all her fashion sketchbooks from her schools. Her name is Ann Wilkins. Like, shout out if Miss Wilkins sees this.
Thank you, Ms. Wilkins.
I need to get back in touch with her. So yeah, so she really like cultivated that in me. And at the time, I was going to a lot of raves. I was making rave fashion. This was
I love this.
1999. Okay, so AOL, GeoCity days, CompuServe, dial-up, right? Prehistoric internet.
Prehistoric.
Okay, so yeah, picture that.
Yes.
1999, I think.
You get the CD in the mail, you put it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, actually, it was like Napster for me. I was
Oh God, I love it.
stealing music.
So good. So good.
So I got a sewing machine finally for my 15th birthday. I started, or 14th birthday. I started making clothing, taking pictures of it, selling it at raves, big fat denim fat pants, like the Jinko style, but like rave-esque.
Maybe.
And so I didn't even have, back then, like the digital cameras were super expensive. There was no smartphones. Well, first of all, I decided, okay, I'm already online like all the time, taking up my parents' dial-up. Like I'm online. Like,
And you're a freshman in high school, right?
What's that?
A freshman in high school at this point?
Freshman in high school,
Okay.
yeah. 14, I was either 14 or 15, 1999, 2000.
In Phoenix.
Yeah. In Phoenix.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So I decided to start telling people, like my online friends, hey guys, like I'm making clothes. Would you be interested in seeing it? I taught myself HTML, like basic HTML, set up a GeoCities website. Do you remember GeoCities?
Not really.
Some people, I tell them, they're like, oh my God, yeah. And like some people are like, I have no idea what that was. Like it's not a thing obviously anymore, but it's basically like a really basic website editor, whereas a kind of drag and drop, but you also still needed to know HTML. So that's when I learned. And I think I had like one of the first versions of Photoshop, taught myself that.
Did you go get a book? Like my son has an HTML book. Did you go get a book back in the day, or were you learning it online?
I was learning it. I was just learning
when
it.
You could get a connection. Okay.
When I stole the line. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So then I had to photograph my creations, right? So I got like a webcam that had to sit on top of the computer, the big,
Yeah, the big boxy,
the big boxy monitor, and then I would like hold up the fat pants and kind of take a screenshot or whatever. So I put that on there. I got drag and drop little fields so people can pick what color denim they wanted, what color stitches, like they wanted Pokemon print in the pocket. Like I went like all out. I went to Joann's to find out what they had, got samples. So I was making this like a whole custom experience for these kids that I was meeting in chat rooms with no pictures in the chat rooms. I had to direct them to my website. So then they gave me their measurements even. So then I would take the orders and they would have to mail me a check. There was no PayPal.
So good.
No Shopify.
So you gave them your home address. You're like, hey, I'm over here. Just mail me a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't tell my parents. So once they started coming, these checks were coming in the mail. They were like, what the F is that?
You're like, what's a chat room? You're meeting murderers online.
Right. They're giving you money for what? Like, you're a teenager. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's right.
Legal. They thought I was doing something illegal.
Like, you're like, I'm not even taking pictures of my feet. Okay. It's perfectly normal. It's fine. I don't know what your problem is.
Yeah.
I'm a freshman. I know everything.
Oh, yeah. So I was like, okay, this is working. I'm getting $60 for a pair of jeans.
Wow.
$60 in 1999 from complete strangers who had so much faith in me.
And you're like 14.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love it. All right. So you get the bug, right? You're like, well, I'm all in. Now give us just a quick background of like the stage till you got to like, I own Baby Teeth. And then then we're going to get into the next thing. Okay. So then, all right, I get bit by fashion online, making money.
Yeah.
Right?
So I eventually had to like stop because I wasn't getting my homework done and I was like failing classes. So my parents were like, dude, like stop, like whatever this is. So
We
um,
don't know what it is, but you're failing school,
they're
so
like,
you
just
have to
focus
stop.
on school. I
Yeah.
had no choice. I had to do that. And so then, between 15 and 18, I started participating in local fashion shows. I was still designing, still like just getting my ideas out there, just being creative, honing in my sewing skills. And so that was 18. Eventually, when I was like, I was doing, started to do bigger and bigger things started happening out here. Eventually, one year there was a Phoenix Fashion Week started,
Mm-hmm.
and my collection was actually I was actually the very first fashion show ever in the very first Phoenix Fashion Week. Now it's a bigger scale, like there's
Yeah.
millions of people out here, right? So there's like a need, and there's, fashion schools here too. Um, but this was like before, like downtown was completely different. So it's kind of fun to be part of the arts out
Do
here
you
at the
have
time.
pictures of that?
God, it was on MySpace and my MySpace is gone. Like
I was like,
I don't
repost
think
that. I
so.
want to see it. Okay.
I don't think I do.
We could
Yeah.
ask Brian. I don't know if Brian was around then, but we could ask like the Phoenix Fashion Week folks.
It was after yeah, Brian came after. Brian
Okay.
came
So
after.
good.
Yeah. So this is like before that.
So good.
So then when I was 21 is when I moved to LA. I wasn't going for school, but once I got there and I started kind of working, I volunteering backstage at celebrity fashion shows, working with stylists. Um, I was like, okay, I need to seize the opportunity of me being out here and go to school. So I got into FITM, and so I attended that while I was working on music videos, doing like backstage stuff, working with designers as an intern. I did a couple fashion shows, but it was just for funsies, and then just making connections,
How are
stuff
you
like
paying the bills?
that. I was working at Urban Outfitters in
Okay.
Phoenix. And they transferred me over to Melrose
Got
on
it.
Melrose Ave, so that was really fun. And then I worked a couple other things. I was doing side hustles everywhere,
Yeah.
like gospel gigs, to
I
set work.
mean, someone like you or me or any like hardcore entrepreneur, we will never not have money. Like it'll be fine.
Right.
Like we don't like it. Just figure it out. Like sell out the back of your car, work at that place, go to Starbucks, like whatever you need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities, and especially me being young, single, and childless in LA, like opportunities were it was like me in a candy store. Like I was used to working three jobs
Yeah.
all the time
Right.
before in Phoenix. So going out there was just like, hey, I'm ready. Like just
Yeah.
give me what you got, you know? I'll work for free if at least I'm learning something and
Yeah.
I have my bills paid. So um, then after a couple of years, I did run out of money, and then I came back to Phoenix because I was like burnt out. With
Mhm.
all that said, I was burnt out. I felt like I made the connections and I got the experience that I needed.
It's
And I was
fun
like,
until it's not fun. And then
right, I'm like
next.
ready to chill. I wasn't exactly ready to um, hustle for a few more years to get a good job. Or, I mean,
Yeah.
it just didn't work out like that for me. So yeah, I came back. I was ready just to um, do other things. And I got into set work, working on TV and film, and commercials.
Hmm.
So with costume designers, I did a couple big budget films, some shows for like VH1 and other things, and then a lot of like Hallmark movies. Like out here, it's definitely there's a lot of work. There's a lot of people that production companies from LA are coming out here for the tax credits and
Hmm.
whatever, and it's cheaper, to film certain things. So there's a constant stream of, especially commercial work. I did a lot of commercial work, and that was awesome working with really great stylists and costume designers, and yeah, so that was a great experience. And then I did a couple of years of that. And the gig that broke me and made me not want to do that anymore was Piranha 3D. I don't know if you're familiar. It's a
I get the
Eli,
idea, but I don't know.
yeah. So it's an Eli Roth movie. He's a horror director, and he filmed. He did a remake of this B movie, B horror film. I forgot what year it came out originally, but I got to work with Elizabeth Shue and Christopher Lloyd on that one. That was like amazing. But with that said, it was 6 days a week, 16 hours a day, on location at Havasu, Lake Havasu, which wasn't cool. Not cool. Havasu, at least for me. And the scenes were, it was very cool to watch, but we had hundreds of extras getting murdered. We had one scene that took us 3 weeks to shoot, and it was everybody had a ton of accessories. Like it was basically, the scene was a bunch of college kids in the lake getting eaten by piranhas.
Oh,
So there's a lot of fake blood and everything like that. But each extra, we're talking hundreds of extras, had 3 sets of their costumes head to
oh my
toe.
God.
To keep continuity. They would shoot and reset, but every day like that, I had to make sure every piece of that costume was in a bag and like accounted for. Then the bloody one would go to dry cleaners overnight, and then I had to reset the next one for the next day. Of 3 weeks of this, the whole movie took 3 months, and there's a lot of like insanity that was happening behind the scenes, as far as like the partying and everything. Everybody, like actors were getting arrested, and
Oh my God.
just like indecent exposure. It was just crazy.
You're like, okay, this is my life. Do I want this life?
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard. It was like in being away from like actually having some stability in my life,
Yeah.
and like, being like on. So it was great. It was an experience. I have a story to tell you. You know what I mean? But yeah, it broke me, and I was like, okay, I need to figure out something else. I want to stay like I want something that's a 9 to 5, kind of like a normal
Yeah.
system.
Stable.
So then I got into fashion merchandising.
Okay.
So I got my foot in the door with Forever 21, and about 8 months in, a representative from H&M walked my store and was like, "Who did all this?" And I was like, "I did." They put me on a plane the next week to go train for H&M so that I can go do store openings. So I did that for a few years, traveled the country doing store openings, and at the time I opened the world's largest H&M in Vegas. That was a lot of fun. That gained me a lot of experience with the business part of fashion and retail. As you know, you don't really, once you're in it, like once you're actually doing the retail, looking at the numbers, like, and figuring out merchandising is like, that's a whole nother beast. There's design, and then there's the whole business.
Oh, there's design, and there's a whole nother thing, because just designing cute things without an eye towards what's going to sell and how do I get them to buy 3 pieces and how do I, it's apples and oranges. Yeah.
And then knowing like how to analyze the data and like use your intuition to know what your customers and anticipate their needs, and being that silent salesperson with mannequins and the displays and everything like that. So that was definitely like huge for me in what I'm doing now.
Yeah. So when
Yeah.
did you start your own company?
So then I
Well,
left.
10 years ago. So like,
Yeah. So then when I had my daughter, I left H&M.
okay.
I did at some point I did work for Urban Outfitters as a merchandising manager, doing the same thing after she was born, and doing set work here and there also while Baby Teeth was building.
Yeah.
That was craziness, like having a newborn and doing all these things. But yeah, so that was 10 years ago. Yeah, so I left H&M after maternity leave was up, and I was just like, I have to figure it out. I want to stay home with Violet. I want to be there as much as I can. How can I make this work?
Yeah.
So I had already started making her clothing when I was pregnant, and people were asking like, put it online, put an Etsy up. So I did an Etsy, and that's how it started growing. And then eventually I brought the community in, and it is what it is now. Yeah.
So what's interesting is it's almost like you were doing fashion and then you're pregnant, this baby's coming along. So fashion came out through the baby, mom thing. Like, had you been like, whatever, it would have been a different business depending on what was happening in your life. Yeah. I think that's for all of us, but you forget, like,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
yeah,
It's
that's just what I was into at the time. So that's why it was a kids company. Otherwise, yeah, had I had like a new puppy, it might have been a puppy company.
oh totally. And I have two brands in development right now that again are like part of different aspects of me and different interests that I have. And I think that, you know, leaning into, I know we were going to talk about what do we do, what would I do if I was to start over? And I'm
Yeah.
in that process right now. And I think first and foremost is like really identifying what are you passionate about? I mean, that's pretty cliche, but um, what are you constantly talking about? What are you constantly thinking about? What is on your feed, on your Instagram feed, and your
Mhm.
following? What really entices you, like inspires you? Um, yeah. So at the
So,
time I
okay,
started.
in like a capsule, because of what I really want to know for people who are either starting or running their business, and they're like, well, you have 70, I don't know, 70,000 followers on Instagram. You have an email list, you do ads, like your business is a business and you've been through it up and down with manufacturing. So two questions. Number one, when you started, did you have like a real mission involved in like, I wanted this brand and I want to help moms get through this crazy process and talk about punk music at the same time? Was this,
The, the
was it like that in the beginning, or just like, I'm just making some cute clothes for my kid and like, oh, this blew up?
so the mission was just basically making clothing that I couldn't find
Yeah.
for her. At the time, of course, the market is so different now for kid stuff.
Yeah.
At the time, all you really could find is princess for girls written on things or tugboats, and like it was very gender specific.
Yeah.
Um, it was very like age appropriate, you know, what people thought of stuff at the
So
time.
many things were different. I don't know, 10 years ago, but like my niece is what, 21? And my sister went in to find a doll at Target with dark skin, brown skin instead of like my skin, white skin, and couldn't find one for her
10 years
daughter.
ago?
Yeah. No, 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 but 18. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it was just horrifying. We're like, and there, I don't know what was available, but whatever it was, there's like, there is nothing that looks like her. Nothing. And
Yeah.
we were like, wow, I don't know, whatever. Things have changed. Yeah. And now
Yeah.
there's, yeah.
Yeah.
And you have such a strong brand voice, strong colors, strong mission. Like the vibe is like on point. You guys, you have to know how talented Tiffy is in creating a community. When she says at the beginning, it's a community driven brand, she is not playing. She's like, this is all about you, your life, what you put your kids in, the vibe, spookiness. Like it's very, very clear who this is for and who it's not for.
And I think one thing that I just naturally did with that and that I will maintain is I'm not, at least I say that now, and we've had conversations about this before, is like I'm not front facing in the business. You don't really
Yes.
see me on the Instagram. And I think that there's such a thing where entrepreneurs feel the pressure. You have to show up on Instagram. You have to show your face. You have to make your brand. Um, you have to be the brand personality. And it's like
Yeah.
I learned and I realized I think a lot earlier on. It's like it's okay to like be like, no, this is about the community, and I'm gonna highlight them, and I'm gonna let them. I'm just kind of I'm just putting things together, but this is really their business. Is kind of how I see it. They tell me what they want as far as products go. They tell me how they want things to be done as far as like the experience that they want. I really listen to what they want, their needs, their fears, like um I think yeah, I make sure that like if the brand's personality is them, it's not me. You know what I'm saying?
You guys, the way you put, I'm so glad we're taping this because the way you put that is so good. It's like customer first, but you're doing it like I'm just here as a place of service. I'm all about you guys. So
Yeah.
now, as a person who has a brand, who has customers, who has user generated content and customer picks, That's quote unquote easy for you now. What do
Right.
you do if you're just getting started and you're like, well, I don't have any people. I don't have a community. Like, sure, I'd like to make it about them, but I don't know anybody. Like, how do you start that?
So I would start building, well, first identifying what the brand is. What is it
Yeah.
about? What's the concept? How can you make it niche, right? Don't be generic, don't be general. Really pinpoint what is it inside of you? What is your interest? How can you be creative, especially in the world of AI? And you and I have talked about this before.
Yep.
Ideas are that's what's valuable, right? So it like starts there, your creativity and how are you going to be different, and that starts by having a niche where the people you want to serve, because they're the people you're going to be talking to every day. So make sure that you can speak to them and on this subject. So for me with Baby Teeth, it's the music,
Yep.
which is something that I'm really passionate about. Band, like especially 80s music, 90s music, bands. Like I know history. I used to be a DJ. I like music is a huge part of me. So I can
Yeah.
speak to that, and I'm not like a poser. Like I'm not faking it, you know what I mean? So if you're gonna go after, and I get this a lot too, people that want to start goth brands, but they don't, they're they're just they're interested in goth aesthetic, but they might not know much about it.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Which is fine, but just really consider like you need to be able to speak to it. So
I can't even
um
tell you the businesses I wanted to start based on like, there's white space in the market.
right.
So I want to do this. I could hire someone who knows the subject and make money doing that. Like that's the stupidest thing to do. Like
It's
I've done that.
possible.
It's not, it doesn't work. It's not smart.
I think it's possible on a high level, right?
Yes.
Like the billionaires that are launching other brands, other
Yeah.
business can do it, I think, on that end. But when you're a small business and you're the one that's literally speaking to the customer,
Yeah.
um, or even certain layers of it, yeah, I think there has to be some kind of understanding of the niche.
Okay, so let's back up. So, okay, if you are in business, starting a business, and the first thing that Tiffy I think is saying is when you think of your concept, don't just think product, think who is the person. Is it niche enough? Not a general thing? And is it something that you're truly passionate about?
Yes. And can you build a community around it? And
And can you
how,
build a community around it?
what
Yeah.
does that look like? Because you'll know the person. So what is it? What's the common denominator that's going to bring them together? What's going to spark conversation? If you had a Facebook group, why would they join it? Not
Mhm.
based on the product, because I don't know who's going to join a Facebook group just based on the product unless it's like raving fans that want like special insiders information.
Yeah.
But that's for to me that would be a hard sell. So I would think about, yeah, what's the conversation around that subject? What are we connecting on, So then from there, working on the branding, the visual communication aspect of it, launching the Instagram. um I would say at this point consider TikTok as well. I'm
Hmm.
not a TikTok expert. This is the year for me for TikTok to really dive in and use my intuition and being like, okay, now I know my customer. How am I going to show up on TikTok for them?
Hmm.
Um, knowing that it's very different than Instagram. But I would launch the Instagram and grow an audience that way. Growing audience, get them on a list, start getting them like just give content and kind of like, yeah, letting them know what the brand is going to be about, but not actually talking about the clothing or the products yet. Just
Guys,
talk.
did you, one thing she just mentioned, and I know Tiffy knows this so well that she doesn't even think to say it, is get them on a list. You want to expand on that? Because yes, you're saying do Instagram. People are just hearing do Instagram. They're not hearing get them on the list part that you just dropped. So go ahead, just
Oh
tell us
yeah.
about that.
So I mean, this is definitely a belief you've instilled in me over the years and growing my, like, I think when you and I started working together, I think I only had a couple thousand on my list. Now it's like, I don't know, 20, 30,000 for Baby Teeth.
Wow.
So Um, and you always say your money's in the list. I strongly agree as well because Instagram has its flaws. It has its setbacks. You're not going to reach everybody. You don't own it, right? Like your list, you at least can own that data. You can.
And do you really mean email list or SMS text list?
Email list.
Okay, just to be clarified.
On the side, I do have SMS though.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly growing that as well. But I think for me, the way that I think of it is I can send more emails. I can't send a whole lot of SMS.
Yeah.
So I still value my list more than my SMS, my email list over my SMS.
Yeah.
SMS
I
is,
thought would have switched by now, and it hasn't. And I don't know that it's going to.
what do you mean? Like that SMS?
I thought SMS would at some point. I'm just waiting for something to beat email. Email has been the highest ROI of any marketing channel across the board.
It's been around since the 90s too. Consider that.
Yeah.
It's been one since the 90s.
So like I think the last 12 years, it's the top return on investment of any marketing activity. Okay.
Yeah.
So I keep thinking, well, is it going to be chat bots? Is it going to be text? Is it going to be something is going to like boot it eventually? Nope, not yet. Not even close. Nothing's even close.
Yeah, because you own it. And even with SMS, it's got drawbacks. The open rate's amazing, of course.
Yes.
I get, the ROI is amazing. But the frequency you can't do with.
And the ROI is like half the ROI of email for most of my clients.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When said and done, maybe it's because they send fewer. They have fewer people on. They started later with the SMS. It costs more to run. So I'm all in. It costs a lot more to run SMS than email, even when you get a big list like yours. And so like the ROI, I don't know, I see like 100 to 1 for quite a few of the companies I work with for email. I've never seen anything more than like 46 to 1, which is amazing, but still it's half, I'll
have to look at my I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I know like when I send a text, I'm getting orders. Like there's no question.
Yeah.
With emails, of course, it's like it's pretty frequent, but also the frequency of the message or the emails going out. I have my funnels, my sequences, my follow-ups, my abandoned cart, all those. So, and then on top of the, weekly blast, that kind of thing. So there is definitely the frequency's up.
Yep.
So I don't get as many orders every single time. But yeah, the ROI is there for sure. Like,
oh, it's great. I just thought it was going to be replacing. I don't know why I thought that. I just made that up in my brain. Okay. So this is such good stuff because you really know all aspects of business. Are you team spreadsheet? Team not? I hate spreadsheets.
Oh yeah. What did I say? I told you. I'm a freak in the sheets.
Yes.
Love spreadsheets. I got a huge dashboard. I need to show you this beast. I got a dashboard that I update every single day for Baby Teeth that tells me exactly where we're at with the orders, where we're at with cash flow, my profit first situation on the bottom, like accounts receivable, like it's all there. And then I have another one for marketing and like planning my emails and everything else. I got.
Did you always love spreadsheets, or is this something that you've developed as an entrepreneur?
I think when I started to see how important they are for me, to keep focus and to understand what's happening in the business, I think I started to really, really love them. I think before they were just kind of like, I don't know what to do. Like, I guess I can create a little chart or like, have my numbers here and there, but I wasn't using it the way that I am now with all.
Got it. Okay, so we have connecting on what? What does your brand stand for? What's the concept? What's the niche? The people. Next, launch your Instagram, which is very interesting. That's number 2. Love it. And then we'll look at TikTok.
I'm most interested in TikTok ads. I think that's where I'm going to start before even the content, because of my history with Facebook ads and how powerful I know that they can be and how I still rave about them. I still think they're amazing. I'm really interested. I'm like just seeing so many success stories with TikTok ads And I'm watching my friends blow up on TikTok as well, just with their
Yeah.
content. It's a lot, it's a lot easier. It's a newer platform ish, newer, still like
Hmm.
in relation to all the other platforms. So, I think if you have fun with your content, go for it. And then for me, I'm like more of the analytical marketer. I like to, of course, create connection through my ads and like what I'm doing on the other end of things with the community. But as far as like exposure goes, I'm not putting all my eggs in the Instagram basket of just content, organic marketing. I'm out there like making sure that I'm getting exposed to the right people via Facebook machine learning, Facebook ads machine
Yeah.
learning, and AI. And so, yeah, and I'm hearing just like that with all the changes of Facebook ads, I'm still navigating them. I still use my intuition and they're still working
Yeah.
because you have to constantly just be looking and learning and really understanding your customer and understanding how things are going and don't listen to everybody who posted a video about this is how to win in Facebook ads in 2023. Those videos, they're already outdated by the time they post
Oh,
them. So
so many things. I'm like, why are you telling people
yeah,
that?
I mean, I think if you're brand new to Facebook ads, learning hearing what people are saying about them
Hmm.
will help cultivate your intuition, but in the long run it's like you have to make those decisions for your business. Like you need to understand the mechanics of it and then you have to use your intuition with marketing.
And you have learned. It's not like Tiffany's not just saying, and I just started doing ads and I use my intuition. Like she has studied and learned and looks at the data, but you've learned from other people how to run ads too.
Yeah, the
So
mechanics.
it's, yeah, teach yourself and use your intuition is not what she's saying, you guys. She's saying eventually you learn enough, you're in there enough, and you believe the business owner should be the person doing it, usually.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, great.
I had that conversation with Jen yesterday. Um, that we were talking about that. We were talking about how she's hired somebody. I hired somebody at one point, and it cost me $30,000 of
Yeah.
both their fees and opportunity costs because once I hired somebody and I was hands off, sales plummeted, ads weren't working, and their costs were very expensive. And I thought I could just offload it. I was like, do more
Hmm.
of what I'm doing already and just offload it.
Yes.
It didn't work out. So I think it's very, very important to take responsibility for those things in your business and take the time to learn and then practice, 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 and don't give up. Don't give up. You'll figure it out. Everything's figure outable, right? So listen to those YouTube videos, but also, when it comes to the this is what's working in 2023 for Facebook ads, listen to them, but like really take what's going to serve you and really
Yeah.
practice and figure it out.
Is there anyone that you recommend for someone getting started with Facebook ads to listen to, a guru of sorts?
I honestly would just go to Facebook Blueprint, their course that they have, and learn the mechanics.
Really?
Yeah.
So painful. Okay, good to know. If you tell me to do it, I'll tell people to do it.
You gotta sit and learn. I
But
mean,
I think learning Facebook ads from Facebook is contrary because they're teaching the ads for like Coca-Cola. Like they're not thinking of us when they're doing those trainings or those like explanations. They're thinking of bigger companies with different objectives of like brand awareness and shit brand awareness never paid my ComEd bill, you know?
I just thought of who. Danny, or I'm sorry, let me figure out. Dan, no. He's the guy who owns the Hoodie.
Don't even stress. Here's what we'll do. We will put this in the show notes, you guys. Okay. If we get any like, oh, dude, this just a place to start besides learning from Facebook because, oh, painful. You have the ability to do that. I don't know that a lot of the newbies are going to be able to like deal. So
Right.
yeah, when you get a name, we'll put it in the show notes. If you don't know what show notes are, by the way, which I'm learning some people don't know, if you're listening on like iTunes, you just look at the description, it'll say show notes and links. And there's a link back to the blog on fashionbrainacademy.com. I guess I should give them the actual link. But anyway, I'm going to get a link to who do you look at for Facebook ads if you're just getting started. And then,
Well, I remembered his name
okay.
is Davey or Gertie. I hope I'm pronouncing it Davie Fogarty. So he is in his 20s. He owns like 7 huge businesses. He's a multimillionaire, but he's so humble and
Okay.
cool. And he posts he posts YouTube videos explaining everything. This is how he does things, and he actually walks through how to start his businesses, his brands, how he does it. And has a whole series, and he's just out there giving free information just to help people. So he's a
So
great resource, and he has a thing about Facebook ads that he did last year, and he teaches the technical parts of it and gives a little bit of like the nuance of the ad creations and the creatives.
nice.
Very valuable. So that's a good place to start, I think.
So next question. Oh yeah. So I'm going to put that at fashionbrainacademy.com/Tiffe. So we'll link to Danny. We'll link to Baby Teeth, Teith. And before we get to, you mentioned Jen that you talked to yesterday. Jen is a client of mine who had very specific questions about print on demand versus printing your own like t-shirts, sweatshirts, things. And also about her Instagram messaging and community building on Instagram. And I was like, you should talk to Tiffe. And so just quickly tell us, you're taking consultations when necessary? We're so excited.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I started, I opened I started a business a year ago, but I got busy. But I want to start one-on-one coaching and a blog and all the things to start putting this types of stuff down and out, and help.
I'll tell you guys, I mean, there's a lot Tiffe can do HTML. She does websites. She does all the things. So what's the Instagram for your coaching? It's at Tiffe.
So it's gonna be at Tiffe_co. So TIFFE_CO.
Yep.
And I'll have the link to the website and booking and everything like that there.
Boom. Okay, so let me just go back. Somebody's getting started. If you can just kind of give us a summary of the things you would do or not do.
Okay, so starting with the concept, build the audience, and then really cultivate the community. Maybe start a Facebook group, get your website up as just a hub, and then start listening to your audience as far as like the products that they're going to want before, of course, design, put them out there, see what the audience thinks, help them vote, get feedback before actually producing the stuff. You're going to save yourself a lot of time and money.
Would you shoot to build an audience, I guess big, but connected enough to do pre-sales?
Maybe. If they trust you enough, yes. Because I think the drawback of that is, do you have reviews yet? Like, do you have social proof of your products being high quality and everything that you said?
No.
Right. So I think though, if say you're an influencer who is launching something, then you've got people that already know, like, and trust you. And so when you're saying, I'm doing a pre-sale, here's the samples, here's the video of samples, here's pictures, blah, 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 then I guess that could work. Yeah. But I think if you're brand new,
the brands that you have in development, are you the person who's like, I'm always going to have things in development? Or are you like, I'm about to launch something here?
Cool. So these 2 brands, okay. One, I literally had the name since I lived in LA.
I remember this. Yeah. I love it.
It's changed. It's changed and changed and changed and changed, like, as far as the concept goes. And I finally have landed on, like, this feels right. This is good. So that's one. And then the other one is another, was going to be like the adult version of Baby Teeth. It was going to be called Teeth, but things have changed since. And we even did a photo shoot a year ago. And I've just been sitting on the pictures. It didn't feel right. Yeah. So I waited. Plus, I was really busy with Baby Teeth. So I'm now at a point where I'm like, these need to get out there. And now everything is so clear as far as the business model. Baby Teeth business model is changing. And then I'm going to just copy and paste it into these 2 other brands that have different markets. somewhat of a crossover possibly of audience, but it's yeah, so I'm gonna stop waiting. I'm just gonna do it and just have fun with it.
So that would mean you'd have 3 brands at the same time
I'm gonna
and a
do one.
team, duh, but like,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna launch one at a time because I think I really need to cultivate that community and audience for each one and not, spread myself too thin and not
yeah.
kind of what's the word, like water it down and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I think it's I've always had the idea of like all my resources can be utilized in different brands as well. Like
Hmm.
when I did have my team, I
Yeah.
could have had other brands and we all could have been using the same resources kind of thing. So yeah, and that's kind of
Is
my
there a project management software that you use and dig, like Asana, ClickUp, any of them?
so no. I've tested a few, but honestly, all the Google apps are all I use. I use Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Calendar. Those are my
And for
big three.
back and forth with your team, do you use Slack? Use email? What do you use?
I don't have a team really
But you have.
anymore. When
Oh, they
I
were in
did,
person
it
more.
was in person. Yeah, it was in a digital thing. But I think when I start to hire, actually, no, I take that back. I have VAs and I have customer service. Yeah, it was just
Email.
email. Yeah. But I think, yeah, I haven't really thought a whole lot about that because I don't really see myself having a big team in the future. But
Mhm.
yeah, Slack, Asana, I hear are great.
Oh my
There's,
God.
I
They're
don't know if you
different. They're super different. I cannot get on board with any of the project management real softwares. We keep trying them and abandoning them. But Slack is like changed my life. Like literally
okay,
has changed my life.
nice.
Because I really don't like
But
email.
oh my
Email
God,
just is difficult.
any productivity apps, things that can make your life better, easier, anything you can automate,
Yeah.
like that is, I think about that first. Like, how can I automate this or that?
Yep.
Can I automate it? Doesn't need the personal touch, then I can't automate it. But as much as I can, even groceries, I haven't stepped foot in a grocery store in years.
People are
No.
like, oh, I discovered Instacart when COVID. I'm like, yeah, no, I haven't. It's way before COVID since I've been to the grocery store. I hate it. Hate
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I just do pickup. I mean,
Oh, I
that's the
don't.
easy
I just
part.
do Instacart. They just bring it here.
Yeah, yep.
It's
I mean,
great.
I'm around the corner, so it's not a big deal, but
Yeah.
it's like you save time, you save money, like those that's the kind of thing I'm trying to automate things in my life. When I do, I'm a single mom. I'm eventually going to have 3 brands this
Yeah.
year and a coaching business. Like, yeah, and it's possible. You just got to take stuff off your plate and delegate.
I think you've also learned, like, if I don't have to spend an hour and a half running through the grocery store doing it, I could do this to make the money to pay for that. Like,
Exactly.
it's kind of just math, really.
Yep.
Is your time, will you pay for the thing you want if you don't spend your time doing that? Right?
Yeah. Focus on the high earning tasks in your life,
Yeah.
or the things that bring you joy, or connecting with your family, friends, people who are close to you. Like, I'd rather be doing that than grocery shopping, you know?
Oh, God. I literally have like, oh, don't make me go to the grocery store. Oh my gosh, this has been so helpful. I
Yay!
will link to it's Baby Teeth, BABYTEITH.com. You guys, you gotta check it out. I have, in the past treated a friend to like some of the David Bowie shirts for her daughter, and I've turned on friends to that, like the Iggy Pop, and just all of it is just so fun. Your brand is fun. It's fun. It's quirky. It's naughty. It's like spooky. It's all the things. It really is great.
Thank
And
you.
if you guys want to consider, hey, I could use a little more help, and I could use a one-on-one conversation with Tiffe, then check out her new Instagram at TIFFE_CO at Tiffe_co. Boom. You are a rock star. How did you find me in the very beginning? I know you took some more products online
I can't
program.
even remember what year it was. I was trying to think this last year. It was a few years into Baby Teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was YouTube. I'm pretty sure it was YouTube video.
Ah.
Like, this woman knows her shit. Oh my God. I was like, I just binged all your content. And so I don't know how we eventually started talking. And then And then once we started talking, like you took me under your wing and like,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
coaching me, and oh my God, you got me through so much stuff. But I can't remember that initial jump, but once we started talking, I think it was our first Zoom. I was just like, oh, I can't believe I'm talking to Jane right now. Like, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Yeah, you've helped
Trust
me.
me, that's how people feel about talking to you too. They're like, Tiffe built this brand. I want to have that business. I can't believe I can talk to her and get her.
Gosh,
Because
I
you're
can't
so
wait.
honest too with people. Like you're not gonna just, you're just a very, there's some people that, when you showed up in that program, you were just different. Like, like a lot of people are amazing, but you had a certain kind of drive that was special. And so when that person reaches out and says, hey, I have a quick question about this, yes, you're a client, but then I also was just like, how else can I help? Like you just really get invested in their success as an entrepreneur that you see has the passion and the drive and the whatever, that it just seems like a good cocktail for success.
I feel like we've both grown so much.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I've contributed to, like we've had one-on-one, sorry, no, I didn't use that, one-on-ones about like Instagram and stuff like that. Like I
Yeah.
love that I'm able to also reciprocate
Yeah.
some.
Oh
Like
no.
you've given me so much.
Well, at this point, it's come from like student to colleague, right? And Tiffe has been a mentor in my program. She's taught, she did 2 Instagram hot seats recently, which I keep thinking I want to do a podcast on that. I can just play the recording. You don't have to come back, I promise. But like you are not only able to do the things, but you're able to explain it to people in a way that they understand. Just even the way you said the things at the beginning, like I say those same kinds of words, but the way you said it was so much more interesting about what's the concept, you know, and I'll say all the time, customer first, product second, but people don't know what I'm talking about. But then the way you explained it is like, oh, that. And there's so many people listening. If you're listening and you're like, well, I just make cute jewelry. There's no community. There's no anything. There's no whatever. You know what? There's time. It's time to think about that.
Yeah. And
Because a
even
nameless, faceless like jewelry brand is not going to fly anymore.
and like even just like a thought I just had is like people that a lot of the, if it's delicate feminine type jewelry, that's a community of women who, or men who possibly love, beautiful things,
Yes.
romanticize their life, love TV and film that's like romantic. Like there's so much there that you can bring people together with, you know what I mean? Even if
Yeah.
you, a simple thing, like there's something there.
There's something there. So if you like, when I started brand, I was just like, I want to have dresses of this certain kind, but a specific kind of dress. So you can show up at a wedding and not be wearing the same dress someone else is wearing. That was my big mission. Okay. There was no like altruistic, like, let me help people. Like, so I guess I'm saying you can, just like Tiffe just said, you can back it up into a community. You don't have to say, well, I started this brand based on pens and now I don't have a community, but you can still do it.
Or having a pen and being like, this is going to change the world. How I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to uh, orchestrate this. Like, what's the word? Not orchestrate. You know what I mean? Like, really force it. Don't force it. Like,
Yes.
you don't have to have a big mission to
Not
get.
I didn't, but then I ended up with one. Otherwise, you don't want to keep going to work. But like maybe you create what you feel is it's all about the product. And then you notice they're all using it for this thing. Then that's your
Right.
thing.
Yep.
It's based on
Yep.
them, not you, like you just said.
Exactly. Pay attention to their needs,
Oh my
their
gosh.
response.
I could do this forever. You're such a pleasure. You're so smart.
Oh,
Thank you so much
yeah.
for coming.
Thank you for having me. I could talk about this forever. Yes. Yeah.
We both are. Just come on, guys. All right. Have a great day, folks. And you know what, Tiffe? You know what we should do? Dangerous to announce. You know what we should do on a podcast?
Put me on the spot.
We should consider doing like a 2-day retreat for business owners, or even if it's online, but in person, so much better. Yeah. Don't you think?
So my sister, she's a Reiki master, and she puts on these big retreats like every few months. we can rope her into helping us get something. We can go up to you. Do you want to go to Sedona, my favorite place on earth?
Yes. Well, we're not doing it in
Go girl.
Chicago.
Yeah, come on, let's go to Sedona and we'll do a business retreat. That
Um,
sounds like so much fun. Yeah, I'm
okay.
down.
Who's down for not only relaxation and all the things, but business chatting,
Yeah.
planning, dashboards? I don't even know who's in. Email me, brain at Fashion Brain Academy, and say, just let me know when's the fucking retreat. I need to sign up. But no, for real, like I'm really loving the idea of it, and I don't want to do it alone.
I love it. I love it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
will she come and teach us some like Reiki Master stuff too? Can
Oh
we
yeah.
hire her?
Give us Reiki sessions.
That's from that. Yes,
Yeah.
want that.
But I was even thinking, just because as a business owner, she is a business owner who has a system in place to put these retreats together.
Exactly.
She teach us.
No, she's not teaching me. I'm just hiring her to put it on for us.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Like, I'm staying in my lane. I don't need to learn how to put on a retreat. I trust. If she's your sister, I'm in. Like, I don't need to know her.
Yeah.
She could be walking around with like a bloody knife, and I'd be like, "Oh, you're Tiffy's sister. Plan that retreat." Fine.
I'm sure that was a good purpose to have that. Yeah.
All right. Talk soon, guys. This could be exciting. Let us know. Hit us on Instagram. I'm Jane Hamel-Shy, CHI. Tiffy is at TIFFE_CO, or email us if this gets action and people are like, I'd actually be interested to hear more about it. Let's talk more. If not, stop emailing us. We're not doing the retreat, but I think we might.
Or you and I can just go. Let's go.
Oh, hello. That's perfect. And your sister. All right.
Yeah.
Talk soon. Bye, hon.
You.